1,200 acres of Pennsylvania corn, and by the third week of August, a third of it was already flattened into mud. 300 bushels gone before sunrise, trampled by animals nobody had bothered to count until it was too late. Wildlife officials in parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio now put the regional wild boar population near 1,000, moving through Amish farm country in sounders the size of small herds. But the Amish response to that number isn't a helicopter or a rifle. It's a wooden box and a lot of patience. The farmer at the centre of this story asked that his name not be printed. Not shyness, habit. Plain communities have never wanted the camera pointed at them, and 1,000 wild pigs weren't going to change that. So call him what the neighbours do. The Yoder place, 3 farms down from the schoolhouse, corn on one side and pasture on the other. Wild boars are not native here. Most descend from domestic pigs that escaped or were turned loose decades ago, then went feral and bred with whatever was already running the woods. A single sow can throw a litter of 4 to 6 piglets almost every year, sometimes twice. By the time a farmer notices the first rooted-up row, the sounder behind it can already number in the dozens. Multiply that across a county and 1,000 animals stop sounding like an exaggeration and starts sounding low. Nationally, wildlife agencies estimate feral hog damage costs American agriculture something in the range of $2.5 billion a year. And by most accounts, that figure keeps climbing. The damage isn't subtle. Boars don't just eat a crop, they root through it, turning 3 inches of topsoil looking for grubs and leftover kernels. And whatever they don't eat, they trample flat, chasing each other through the rows. A cornfield that took a horse-drawn planter all spring to seed can look like a ploughed lot by morning. There's no insurance check coming for a loss like that, and no disaster funds to file with either. For a family that runs its farm on faith and a shared calendar rather than a subsidy, the damage is simply the winter's flour, the hay for the horses, the money that was supposed to cover a doctor's bill. It was the Yoder farmer's youngest boy who found the first tracks. Cloven and heavy, pressed deep into the mud along the fence line where the corn met the tree line. He was 7. He thought they were deer at first, until his father crouched down, measured the print against his own palm, and went quiet. By the following week, 3 more farms along the same road had the same story. Rows flattened overnight. Fence posts knocked loose where something heavy had leaned into them. A dog that wouldn't stop barking at the tree line after dark. So the community does what it has always done with a problem too big for one farm. It gathers. 6 families showed up at the Yoder place on a Saturday in early September, wagons pulling in from 3 directions before the dew had burned off. Cattle panels stacked on a hay wagon, a spool of heavy fence wire, a plan that had already worked 2 farms over the year before. The trap itself isn't complicated to look at. A circle of welded panels 7 feet high, wired into a rough corral maybe 30 feet across, with a single funnel gate on one side built to swing shut and stay shut. It runs on wire and welded steel, nothing that needs a battery beyond the small trail camera strapped to a fence post. The kind of low-draw device several Amish communities permit, even on farms with no wire running to the house. Building it took a full day, 6 men trading off with wire cutters and post drivers, boys hauling panel sections 2 at a time, somebody's wife bringing out cold well water by mid-afternoon because nobody had stopped to eat. It cost almost nothing but the day itself. Where a commercial operation might hire a trapping outfit and pay by the acre, here the price was 6 men, a wagon of scrap panel, and a Saturday nobody minded losing. A few miles over, an English farm, meaning a non-Amish neighbour, had tried the other approach that same summer. Spotlights, a rifle, and a standing offer to any hunter willing to sit up all night in a deer stand over the beans. They dropped 4 boars in a month. The sounder simply rerouted around that farm and doubled down on the next one over, wiser for the experience. A rifle teaches a pig exactly one lesson: which field to avoid. The building isn't the hard part. Waiting is. For the first 10 days, the trap sits open, gate propped, corn scattered inside every evening, like an invitation nobody bothers to hide. The strategy is patience over force. Trigger the gate too soon, on the first 2 or 3 boars that wander in, and every pig within a mile learns the box is dangerous. Wait long enough, and the whole sounder starts treating it like a dinner table, matriarch included, piglets included, wandering in and out until the corral stops feeling like a trap at all. That waiting is where most first-time trappers fail, Amish or not. The temptation to close the gate on 3 pigs instead of 30 is enormous. 3 pigs caught means the other 27 just got educated, and an educated sounder won't come near a corral again for a year. Meanwhile, the rest of the farm doesn't pause for a trap. Cows still need milking at 5. Corn still needs cutting on the acres the boars haven't reached yet. The boy still has chores before school, and he does them, though he keeps glancing toward the tree line every time he crosses the yard. So the farmer checks the camera each morning before chores, counts the animals in the photograph, says nothing to the boy, who keeps asking when they're going to close it. Day 4 brought 6 boars on the card. By day 7, it was 11. By day 10, the count read 19 in a single frame, the whole family unit standing shoulder to shoulder over the scattered corn, tails flicking, none of them in any hurry to leave. That night, the gate came down. There was no thermal rifle, no drone footage, no drama for a camera that wasn't there to capture it. Just a length of wire pulled taut from 30 yards away in the dark. A lantern left unlit so the light wouldn't spook the sounder. The funnel gate dropping into place, and 19 wild boars suddenly aware they were standing in a box. The squealing carried half a mile. Dogs on 3 neighbouring farms started barking before anyone had said a word. What happens next varies by farm and by state law, but the pattern across Amish country holds steady. Some animals go to a processor who pays by the pound for wild-caught pork, a market that has grown as feral hog numbers have climbed nationally. Others are handled on site, nothing wasted, the way livestock on a plain farm has always been handled. And the meat gets divided among the 6 families who built the trap in the first place. A community that shares the labour, shares the freezer space too. Ask why the community builds instead of shoots, and the answer has nothing to do with sentiment. A single trap, left in place and rebaited, can remove a whole extended family in one closing of a gate. A rifle removes one animal at a time, and the rest of the sounder simply moves to the next farm over, wiser and warier than before. The slower method, on paper, turns out to be the faster one by October. It would be easy to frame this as a community making do without the tools everyone else takes for granted. That frame misses what's actually happening in the field. The trap works because it asks for something most modern solutions aren't built to give: patience, measured in weeks, not minutes. On a farm that runs on faith rather than a government subsidy, patience isn't a limitation. It's the whole method, the same one behind the barn raising and the harvest crew, and every other job too big for one family alone. The Yoda trap wasn't the only one built that September. Word moves fast between church districts, and by the time the first frost hit, similar corrals had gone up on 11 other farms across the 2 counties. Each one following roughly the same design, each one running on the same 10 days of patience. Nobody keeps an official tally the way a state wildlife office would, but the informal count passed between bishops and neighbours at the end of the season put the combined catch across every trap in the district close to 900 animals. Close enough to the original estimate that nobody argued with the number when it made the rounds at the produce auction. The corn came in that year, not all of it, enough for the flour, the hay, and the winter ahead. And somewhere behind the schoolhouse, a trail camera keeps watching an empty corral, waiting for the next sounder to decide the corn scattered inside is worth the risk. Was it worth 10 days of watching a trap sit empty, corn disappearing every night, just to close the gate once instead of a dozen times? Every family on that road would tell you the waiting was the whole point. Would you have had the patience to wait that long? Or would you have closed the gate the first night 3 boars walked in?